143 members of parliament have been suspended. 2 more Lok Sabha MPs were suspended today, viewer. Political history has gone even more to the next level. For our democracy, 143 MPs being suspended in one session, no matter which way you slice it, is something to really be very, very concerned about. Here on 5 Live yesterday, I told you about how this paralysis, this crisis, this collision between the government and opposition requires an intervention. It requires new rules of engagement, because this level of animosity, rigidity and refusal to come to some kind of compromise means that Parliament is a complete washout, and that means it costs you and me. It costs the normal, common Indian, the Aam Aadmi and Aam Mahila of India, to run Parliament without anything constructive actually being done, and certainly no debate whatsoever. Just take a look at some of these numbers before we begin our show. Productivity in the Lok Sabha, 65%, Rajya Sabha, 78%. None of this is actually optimal, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. Nitish Kumar is sulking that he's been sidelined as hero number 1 in the opposition alliance. Mamata Banerjee is sulking over the Congress's refusal to provide clarity on seat sharing. The Congress is sulking over a refusal by Kejriwal's party to share seats in Punjab. The Aam Aadmi party is sulking over the Congress's refusal to share seats in Haryana. The Shiv Sena is sulking over the lack of a clear leader or convener. The JDU is sulking over endless meetings of the India Alliance with no conclusive decisions. The CPM is sulking over Rahul Gandhi's refusal to provide clarity on whether he will shift his fight from Kerala to Uttar Pradesh, where the real fight with the BJP is. Team Stalin has upset Nitish Kumar, who is now sulking, by requesting an English translation of his Hindi speech, reportedly triggering an irritated rebuke from Nitish. Akhilesh Yadav is feeling very chuffed over the Congress's drubbing in Madhya Pradesh after the Congress refused to give the Samajwadi Party a few seats to fight from. Akhilesh has also issued a furious warning over buzz that Mayawati's BSP could be lured into the India alliance in some form. Lalu Prasad is sulking with the proposition of Mallikarjun Kharge's name, since it apparently upsets his succession plan in his family, in which he basically reportedly hopes for Nitish to miraculously move to the centre, vacating the Bihar Chief Minister's chair for Lalu's son Tejaswi Yadav. Mamata has recommended that Priyanka Gandhi contest against Modi in Varanasi, setting the cat among the pigeons. Who asked her to make this recommendation? People in the Congress are wondering. Nitish Kumar is still sulking over the fact that his misgivings over the alliance's name were overwhelmingly ignored by the 27 other parties. The Hindi heartland parties are sulking over the sticky position the DMK has thrust them in with the Sanatan Dharm comment by Udayanithi Stalin, a controversy that gave the BJP a juicy weapon in the recent state polls. Viewer, coalition building is a notoriously difficult and painful exercise, as you can see, because what I've listed here is just a fraction of the frictions and collisions within just 6 months of the India Alliance's formation. What we've seen since June, when the first meeting of the alliance was held, has been overlapping egos, ambitions, suspicions, hypersensitivity and hubris being violently forced to sit at a table and talk as equals. Erstwhile enemies forced to put their sense of pride aside and break bread together. For any coalition to succeed requires nothing short of magic in this country. And the India Alliance is proving this with each passing day. These frictions that keep bubbling to the surface are nothing to laugh about. They are not a source of hilarity or entertainment. Look at the pictures of all these netas at the India Alliance meeting. Many of them seated there are politicians who've gone ferociously head-to-head before. But now they are forced by circumstances to put their feelings on a shelf, at least for the next few months. It's easy to throw a spotlight on all the cracks in this coalition and make light of all these heavy hitters having to pretend to just get along. But let's be clear about one thing. Anyone who loves democracy should be happy that the India Alliance is on a bit of a high. Well, you can argue about that. But if you believe a strong opposition is indispensable, then the coming together of all these parties has to be very welcome and welcomed by all. You can call it cynical, opportunistic, desperate survival tactics, but I would argue that cynicism, opportunism, desperation and survival are, let's face it, probably very, very necessary tools, necessary ingredients in modern political warfare and adjustment. India has seen opposition parties unite several times in the past to make common cause against a larger rival who must be defeated. Whether it was the Janata Party in the 70s or the UPA in 2004, coalitions have worked very effectively on some occasions in the past. But at no point, viewer, in India's history has a ruling government like the Modi government forced such a large number of disparate, warring and contradictory forces to join hands and set aside their differences. It's actually something of a miracle. For this inherently chaotic wagon, staying the course and remaining united is only the tip of a very large and very challenging iceberg. With only weeks to go for the 2024 campaign to begin in earnest, time is not just short, it practically does not exist for the coalition. Not just for the nuts and bolts of seat sharing, which is its own nightmare, but to provide a vision to take to the people of India. Can such a vision be crafted in such a short time amidst all these competing agendas and interests and egos? By reportedly rallying around Mallikarjun Kharge, the Congress president, as a prime ministerial face, has the India alliance essentially contradicted its own recent boast that the lack of a prime ministerial face was in fact its strength? We have so many leaders, we don't need a prime ministerial face. So why is Kharge now being projected? Has the BJP's relentless attack mode forced the India alliance into the kind of presidential style fight that it was hoping to avoid completely? 2024, time will tell, viewer, but where is the time to speak of? That's the big question that faces the India alliance at this point. Well, it's been a day full of protests because, viewer, let's make no mistake. The mimicry by a certain group of MPs outside Parliament may be the big viral moment, but the elephant in the room, the big story, what has triggered all of this is the suspension of 141 and now 143 MPs in Parliament. That's right. Yesterday it was 141. Today, 2 more members of Parliament have been suspended from the opposition, taking the number now to 143. Remember, the genesis of all of this was the security breach in Parliament, the demand by opposition MPs who stormed the well of the House, demanding a statement from the Home Minister, became the spark that lit the fire that has resulted in a virtually opposition-mukt Parliament. 143 opposition MPs have been suspended. It is way, way a higher number than any suspension of this kind in the past, including what the Rajiv Gandhi government had done in the 80s during the Bofors controversy. Images outside Parliament, inside Parliament complex, near the Gandhi statue and elsewhere shows that whether it is the suspended MPs or the BJP that has sought to make this about the disrespectful, allegedly disrespectful mimicry that was indulged in by certain MPs, this has become a war once again of perceptions. But at the core of the issue is still the unshakable reality that 143 MPs have been suspended from the opposition inside Parliament.
हर आदमी अगर अपनी अपनी जाति के लिए किसी विषय पे अगर बोलते हैं तो मेरे जाति को इफेक्ट हुआ तो मेरे जाति को तो हमेशा इफेक्ट होता है. मुझे तो बोलने नहीं दिया जाता है. मैं जो सवाल उठाता हूँ उसको उत्तर नहीं मिलता.
राहुल गांधी जो है एक तरफ तो प्यार की क्या मोहब्बत की दुकान की बात करता है और वहाँ पे दूसरी तरफ में पार्लियामेंट के अंदर में बंदर की तरह वहाँ पे वीडियो बना रहा है और वो उपराष्ट्रपति जी का मजाक उड़ा रहा है. मैं अगर उसके अंदर में थोड़ी सी भी अकल होती तो वो वहाँ पे उसको रोकता कि ऐसा करने से उपराष्ट्रपति जी का मजाक नहीं उड़ाना चाहिए क्योंकि वो भी सरकारों में रहे हैं. तो ऐसे अगर हम हमारे संविधान के पद पर इतने ऊंचे अपना पद पर बैठे हुए व्यक्ति का मजाक उड़ाएंगे तो पूरे लोकतंत्र का मजाक है, पूरे देश का मजाक है.
संसद में जिन लोगों को आपने भेजा है वो वाद विवाद के बदले जोकर का काम पकड़ लिया। उन्होंने जोकर वाला काम पकड़ लिया, नकल करने का काम पकड़ लिया। और ये कांग्रेस का नेता राहुल गांधी उसकी वीडियो बना रहा है।
अपमान किसने किया, कैसे किया? वहां पे एमपीज बैठे हुए थे, मैंने उनका वीडियो लिया। मेरा वीडियो मेरे फोन पे है, मीडिया दिखा रहा है, मीडिया कह रहा है, मोदी जी कह रहे हैं, किसी ने कुछ कहा ही नहीं है।
क्यों आप ऐसा बात करते हैं? हम तो रेस्पेक्ट करते हैं सबको ना, एक डिसरेस्पेक्ट का कोई बात नहीं होता है। इसको जस्ट पॉलिटिकली कैजुअली, आपको तो पता भी नहीं चलता अगर राहुल जी वीडियो में तो छवि नहीं तुलता तो।
ममता बनर्जी जब प्रधानमंत्री जी को गाली देते थे तो इसको हम लोग कैजुअली ले, 130 करोड़ जनता के सामने प्रधानमंत्री को गाली दे रहे, पॉलिटिसाइज नहीं होगा। प्रधानमंत्री उसको तो सम्मान तो होना चाहिए। 2021 के वोट में जब ममता बनर्जी मुख्यमंत्री थे तब उन्होंने क्या बोला था, दीदी बोल के ऐसे कैसे पुकारा है, तो महिला पे ऐसा बोल रहे हैं। उन्होंने वो स्टेटमेंट को पॉलिटिसाइज किया था, तो कैजुअली लेना चाहिए था उसको। जब खुद के बारे में जब होता है तो तुम कैजुअली नहीं लोगे, पॉलिटिसाइज करोगे, पॉलिटिक्स करोगे इसको लेके। जब प्रधानमंत्री जी के, राष्ट्रपति जी को, उपराष्ट्रपति जी के बारे में होगा तो हम इसको कैजुअली ले लो। ये क्या है, ये क्या मैसेज जा रहा है पश्चिम बंगाल में?
जगदीप धनखड़ की कितनी बेइज्जती करो, मुझे कोई चिंता नहीं है। भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति की, किसान समाज की, मेरे वर्ग की मैं पूरी आहुति दे दूंगा हवन में। मैं खुद की परवाह नहीं करता। मेरी बेइज्जती कोई करता है, मैं सहन करता हूं, खून की घूंट पीता हूं, पर मैं ये बर्दाश्त कभी नहीं करूंगा कि मेरे पद की गरिमा मैं सुरक्षित नहीं रख पाया। इस सदन की गरिमा को सुरक्षित रखना मेरा काम है, इस पद की गरिमा रखना मेरा काम है। आप अंदाजा नहीं लगा सकते क्या हुआ है।
I have not said either it is Rajya Sabha or it is Lok Sabha, it's a mock parliament was going on. If he has taken on his shoulder, I am really helpless. Does he really behave like this in the Rajya Sabha? That's my question. I have never any intention to hurt anyone. Dhankar Saab is also in my profession, he is a senior than me. He is also senior advocate, I am also senior advocate. In our profession we never hurt anyone. I did not intend to do it.
So like I said, the mimicry controversy has become a big viral eruption that has taken over at least a part of the headlines. But it is our job in the media to tell you that the story is still about the 143 MPs who've been suspended.